Oh, the San Francisco 49ers on their way to the NFC Championship game, defeating the Green Bay Packers 13-10. What the hell just happened? How did it happen? The 49ers advance, and we're going to get into all of it right now. Key plays, key players, and give out some game balls on this episode of Locked On 49ers, NFC Championship Edition.
You are Locked On 49ers, your daily San Francisco 49ers podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to Locked On 49ers Victory Saturday. Victory Sunday morning for some of you listening to this podcast on Sunday morning. Tomorrow morning, if you are not on the live stream with us right now, the chat filling up. Everybody is pumped. What an insane game, Croc. I don't even know where to begin. Brian Peacock and Eric Crocker at BD Peacock, at Eric _Crocker. The 49ers go to Green Bay in single digit temperatures in the snow and defeat Aaron Rodgers. I can't even speak. I'm so blown away by what we saw. Aaron Rodgers, Devontae Adams, and the Green Bay Packers go down 13-10, Croc.
Crazy.
Loving the look, by the way. I'm loving the look right now. I got so cold watching the game, I had to put my snow gear on. But you're vibing. You're California vibing right now after that win.
Listen, I had to hear a lot from Packers fans, Packers media, Peter, from Locked On Packers. We had a bet, so he knows what that bet is. So I'll be getting at him pretty soon. Got some videos of him too, because he made some funny faces during our video. I let it slide then, but I got the receipts. I'm pulling the videos out. I screen record. I got the whole thing. But shout out to the 49ers. They did a terrific job just weathering the storm, literally. The weather, in life, right? Just in life in general, on the path to being successful, it's not always a straight path, right? Most of the time it's not. There are a lot of twists and turns. And the 49ers definitely dealt with a lot of twists and turns along this way just to reach the NFC Championship game, battle the elements. This is a tough team. And I really want to give a special shout out to Jimmy Garoppolo, who I said it on the last drive. I've been saying it all along, Peacock. Last couple minutes of the game, there's only a couple of quarterbacks I would rather have the ball in their hands than Jimmy Garoppolo. And I still felt that way, regardless of whatever goes on the other 58 minutes of games. He came through in the clutch. Shout out to Jimmy Garoppolo. That was big time. Man, awesome job. Awesome game. Shout out to the special teams. I know we got a lot to get to, but this is rapid reaction, so you guys are kind of getting raw emotions here. Definitely an exciting win for the San Francisco 49ers.
Jimmy W, there was never a doubt, right? Come on. Never in doubt. You knew the 49ers were going to pull that one out with Jimmy W. All he does is win. And, oh, man, it was just starting with Jimmy G. There was a point in that game early where Jimmy was dealing. I love the way he was playing. The 49ers were dropping the balls left and right. He scrambles out of the pocket, steps up, gives the little shovel pass to Elijah Mitchell out of the backfield. He was playing his butt off early in the game, and I tweeted it out, and I think I might have jinxed him actually, because I said Jimmy G is playing his ass off right now, and all of a sudden it went south. And he started trying to Brett Favre it. I don't know if it was because he was at Lambeau Field trying to wing these throws off his back foot to the sideline. What is he doing? That's not a Jimmy G type of a throw. But we talked about it during the week, Croc, with Peter, actually. Special teams. The 49ers have not had a good special teams unit all year long, but the Packers were worse. The Packers had the dead last, the worst special teams unit in the NFL. We saw that Saturday night. We saw that, and it was actually the special teams that ended up winning the game for the San Francisco 49ers. Just an unbelievable game. We're going to get to our game balls. We're going to get to all the points here, but there's so much talk with the quarterback and just a roller coaster ride, and it can't ever be easy, right? But this is the type of game I just didn't see coming in the snow at Lambeau Field, and the 49ers defense just putting the clamps on the Packers.
It didn't look like it was going to go well starting off, and you're wondering how would the 49ers adjust. Aaron Rodgers and the offense just sliced right down the field with no resistance, ran in for a touchdown, bulldozed over guys. Even the way their second drive started, it was like, wow, they're kind of just imposing their will on the 49ers, and the 49ers are used to being the bullies. And then Fred Warner punched the ball out, and that kind of got things going for the defense. And I mean, the defense had every reason to quit. And someone came on my podcast and had said that in those elements, you get down, 49ers probably going to quit, and they never quit. So shout out to whoever the leaders are on that defense that kept everybody rolling, kept everybody in there. Huge field goal block by Jimmy Ward. Again, I'm looking at how they just responded to things. And there was a huge coverage breakdown at the end of the half. And, 49ers, Nick Bosa comes in, gets a sack, strip, fumble. The next play, Jimmy Ward blocks a field goal. Huge play, man. I mean, there's so many things that the 49ers did right to help them stay in that game. It's not always going to be perfect. And I was watching this game, and I'm like, it's not going to be perfect. It's going to be an ugly one, but you got to figure it out. And it's great to see them figure it out.
Absolutely. Yeah. Jimmy Ward, busted coverage, comes back, makes a huge play, blocks the kick. K'Wan Williams gives up catches early, comes back, makes plays later in the game. Jimmy Garoppolo looks good for a while. Guys are dropping the ball on him. Then he kind of falls apart. Then he comes back and plays well. And then some guys start making some plays for him. It was a total team effort, guys coming back and eventually making plays, even if they had a bad run or a bad play, and not getting down on themselves and really not quitting. And I think that's a huge part of this team. And I think it's very clear now that we know this team is not going to quit. And luckily the defense kept the offense and the special teams in it long enough to make enough plays for the 49ers to roll down there. And what was it? A 45-yard field goal by Robbie Gould to win the game. 0 touchdowns by the offense, Croc. And it didn't matter. How about that? What if I told you that the 49ers were not going to score a touchdown on offense and they were going to win this game?
I mean, I would say there's no way that happens. And it did. I'm still trying to gather my thoughts on how that played out. But, we talked about Jimmy Garoppolo and how well he played. But shout out to Deebo Samuel. However he had to help the team, whether it was being a running back, whether I love the new wrinkle that they threw in there, having him run that angle route out of the backfield. We haven't seen that. Typically when Deebo lines up in the backfield, he runs the ball. They ran an angle route with him. I mean, they utilize him as a true running back on that play. He caught the ball, and just Deebo was awesome. The big kickoff return, and I like don't save him. Don't, okay, you're out of wind, you're out of breath, whatever's going on. We have to use every ounce that you have to get through this game. It took all that and more. Shout out to Deebo Samuel.
Yeah, you're right. Don't save him. Put him out there for the opening kickoff in the NFC Championship game. I thought maybe he should have been utilized more early in the game, getting him into space. Like, enough of this running with him up the middle. Give him the tosses, give him a wide receiver screen, which they finally did in the second half. And it really got the offense going and got the momentum going. And you're right, running a little angle route out of the backfield. Like, he's a stinking receiver. So when they're selling out on trying to stop him with the ball in his hands, get him out into space and get the ball in his hands. So any way they can do that. And I think the 49ers absolutely did a much better job of that in the second half. Oh, gosh, where do we even go here with this? There's so many people jumping in the live chat right now. I see hundreds of you. I love that you're here. I love that you're fired up. We're going to hang out with you guys. I don't want to say as long as you want to hang out, but we're going to hang out for a while. I beat COVID over the course of the last couple of days, so I'm feeling 100%. I'm ready to go in this thing. I treated COVID like it was the Green Bay Packers special teams. It no part of me. Like, it was. I dispatched it with the quickness. So I'm feeling really good right now. I'm glad all of you folks are with us right now. It helped me get through my isolation and my COVID. Actually, it didn't help me actually kick COVID, but it helped my boredom, and it helped me have some snacks while I was isolated in my studio. I've been in this room for what feels like an eternity now, every single day recently, trying to isolate from my family because they still have not caught what I had. But I defeated it, and you know what I ate a lot of, Croc? I bet you could guess.
Built bars.
Built bars. I had a Built Bar or box. I probably had about a dozen Built Bars while I was in here because you know what? They are delicious. They are covered in 100% chocolate, and they're only containing about 130 calories per bar, 4 grams of sugar, only 4 grams of net carbs, and 17 grams of protein. I'm not grabbing candy bars. Even if I'm sick, I'm grabbing a protein bar that tastes like a candy bar, like Built Bar. If you want to eat healthy, sometimes it gets a little boring. Maybe you've got your New Year's resolutions by week 3, by week 4, right now, late January, getting a little bored. You're like, where's the chocolate? Well, Built Bar is covered in 100% real chocolate, and it's delicious. So many flavors to choose from. Coconut, almond, peanut butter brownie is my favorite. All kinds of new flavors coming all the time. So get yourself a box of Built Bars. Go to Built.com. Use promo code LOCK15, and you can get 15% off your order. That is promo code LOCK15 for 15% off at Built.com. Crocky, people are loving your vibe right now, and I am too. This is a victory vibe right now for Crocker, and this is not something he's been locked into this zone for a while because when he jumped on the stream, he was already like this. This isn't a prop that he put on, you know. So this is how Croc is vibing on life right now with the 49ers advancing to the NFC Championship game. They have the Packers number. They go through Lambeau Field. They go through Green Bay on the road. The 49ers continue to be road dogs, winning narrowly with the Robbie Gould field goal, 13-10 over those Green Bay Packers. What happened on the Elijah Mitchell run on 4th down, Croc? Mitchell went the wrong way, right? That's the only thing that
I think so.
Yeah.
You know, maybe he overthought it. Hey, they're gonna think I'm gonna go outside because that's what we did the time before. I feel like it was blocked up a little different when on the first one that they ran, it was 3rd and short, and Trent Williams kicked out. It was like Trent Williams and everyone else, and he was able to kind of cut off of Trent Williams. But on that one, on the 4th down play, it really was only kind of like Trent Williams out there kind of still in the edge. So maybe it was blocked up a little different. It looked like he still would have been able to get outside, but definitely didn't work out however they thought it was supposed to.
So I saw real quick on Twitter a few minutes later, I saw Jeff Schwartz do a quick and dirty breakdown of it. And as I suspected, it was definitely Elijah Mitchell just didn't get the memo, went the wrong way. And it looked like, but what's weird is it didn't look like Jimmy Garoppolo was really reaching out to give him a handoff outside. It looked like Jimmy was cool with just handing it to him and taking it up the middle. But Warner didn't get defeated by Gary on the block. He was blocking down on him. He was like, it was blocked up for Mitchell to go outside, and it was wide open. He might have scored on that thing. I mean, it was wide open, and it worked so good the first time. It looked like live. I thought, oh, what, that was weird. They're going to use, you know, that they ran it once early, then they ran it again as a decoy, maybe because they thought the defense would over pursue where Trent Williams was going. But then when you watched it back, I really just think that Elijah Mitchell went the wrong direction. It was actually a really good play call by Kyle Shanahan. It was blocked up perfectly, and it was wide open if the run just went outside. So I think it was on Elijah Mitchell.
Yeah, and there's a chance that maybe he just kind of, you know, everything was sped up in his head, and that typically happens because that was Elijah Mitchell for the first half of the season, the one that would, you know, rush to, you know, get to the line of scrimmage, wouldn't let blocks play out, was kind of indecisive with the way that he was running, and
running into his blockers' backs at times.
Yeah, that happened a lot early on, and I thought he just improved drastically throughout the year with his vision, and we even saw it a lot in this game. The one play where he got up in there and then spun off of, I believe it was Kenny Clark, and picked up more yards. So his vision has been like really top notch. So I wonder if on 4th down, it was just the extra little adrenaline rushing and not wanting to be wrong, maybe just wanting to hit the hole right now, and he kind of was a little impatient with it.
Both games actually Saturday, now that I think about it, ending in walk-off field goals, one from one of the youngest kickers in the league and the other from one of the oldest kickers in the league. It was a rookie kicker that won it for the Bengals in the early game.
Yeah, and you guys check out Bet Online. That's one of the sponsors of the Locked On Network. I put $100 down on 3 underdogs: the Cincinnati Bengals, the San Francisco 49ers, all money line, The Cincinnati Bengals, the San Francisco 49ers, and the last one is the LA Rams. If the Rams win, $1,800 off of $100. Drinks on me.
How about that path if the
Yeah.
49ers go back to SoFi and just stay there for a couple of weeks, right?
Man, I might try to get there. I don't know.
All
I don't know.
right.
Peacock. We might have to start a GoFundMe for us to attend the Super Bowl
Well,
and record live there.
the network's going to send us to LA if the 49ers make the Super Bowl. So we're going to be there.
That's
So we just got to
right.
find an extra week, or actually 2 weeks, because there's a week in between. We just got to find some extra. You know what? I needed some babysitters is what I need if that's going to happen.
Right.
Already
We are going to be there for Radio Row.
Yeah, Radio Row. If the 49ers are in LA, Croc and I will be at Radio Row doing our podcast in LA. Oh my goodness. How about Josh Norman? Did he play one snap and just lock up Devontae Adams and just peace out of the game? Be like, that's it. That's it for me.
I will say this. I have a little issue with that play. Terrific job. Incomplete. No catch. Awesome. But it's like, dude, you're a veteran. The technique shouldn't be that much off. One, before or right when the snap happened, he hopped. You can't hop. At cornerback, everything has to be step replaced. Coach once told me, like, you should never, as a cornerback, have both feet off the ground unless you're jumping up for an interception. So he hopped both feet off the ground, and then he shot his outside hand. All right, if you're facing forward and you shoot your outside hand on the guy releasing outside, you're going to lock your hip. All right, and then now you're going to have to flip your whole body around to be able to turn and run with a guy. That puts a cornerback in a state of panic, and a lot of times that's when you see the penalties. They're grabbing because your time clock is sped up, as opposed to shooting your inside hand. That outside hip opened up and you effortlessly turn and run. So it's like, come on, man, you're a veteran, Josh Norman. You know better than that. It's easier said than done, especially when you have Devontae Adams across from you. But that was one thing. I mean, I don't want to nitpick his just 2 reps, but that was something that jumped out to me.
Emmanuel Mosley's so good, man. They didn't really test him that much, but he's so good. He's helping out on other guys' coverage. He's so good, right? Like,
did a really good job reading 2-1. Did an awesome job. I thought at some point, especially on that last goal line trip by the Packers, where they ended up getting a field goal, I thought at some point they were going to try to take advantage of that. The 49ers are playing not a trap coverage, but kind of basically like a cover 2 type defense, where he was sinking. So what we used to call it was cover 4 nail, right? So it's cover 4 essentially where you have quarters, but if you get an out route and you're kind of like to the field, then the corner will drive that out route. And that's what we saw Mosley do on some of those tackles. Had a nice hit on Devontae Adams.
That I think it affected Devontae. He was moving slower. I swear to God, he was moving slower after that hit.
It's hard to say because I don't
want to say he caved on after that or anything like that, but football's a physical game, and it takes a toll. And you get hit, it'll affect you. These are human beings out there,
right? That cold weather can't feel good. I mean, getting hit. That was the one thing when Devontae Adams got hit. That was the first thing I'm like, I know he felt that. No sleeves, just that burn on your skin. It's not ideal.
No, not good. And the ground is hard. It's frozen. So, and cold. Did you see Deebo's elbow looked like he was bleeding? You see that?
Yeah, had a little blood, little war. I mean, he was playing so physical.
Yeah.
Oh, that last run that Deebo had, Jair Alexander had a chance to stop all that, and he did not want any of those problems. Where these young kids say now, he didn't want the smoke. He had Deebo coming through, and he kind of like waited to where he felt like he had kind of where he had a better angle to where he wouldn't have to take on the brunt of Deebo Samuel. And he kind of just tossed his body at him, but like really completely whiffed. And Deebo just ran right through it. He had a chance to stop that, and he didn't want it. I pointed that out too. I saw that right away.
I wouldn't want it I wouldn't want any part of Deebo Samuel. And to be honest with you, the 49ers, it was hard because Deebo got banged up. In the first half, there should have been more Deebo. I think that was the best part of the second half for the 49ers. Move the ball a lot better. More Deebo, more points, in my opinion. I want to talk a little bit about the 49ers run game and the job the Packers did and why this game got so weird so fast. We're going to give out some game balls in this game. We're going to finish the regular pod at about 30 minutes, and then we're going to go into overtime on the YouTube Live. So if you're hanging out with us on YouTube Live, save some of those questions for us. We're going to go into overtime. We're going to hang out with you for a while. We're vibing here. 49ers, huge win. If you're listening on the audio-only podcast, maybe come over and check out some of the YouTube stuff we're doing as well and hit that subscribe button. And we appreciate you no matter how you're listening to Locked On 49ers. If you are in your car, say Monday morning on your way to work, feeling that Victory Monday vibe with the 49ers advancing to the NFC Championship game, and maybe you need to get some gas, check out the Get Upside app. Our listeners are making up to 25 cents for every gallon of gas every time they fill up with the Get Upside app. Just download the app. It's free. You find it on the App Store, Google Play, wherever you get your apps. Download the Get Upside app. Use promo code touchdown, and you'll get a bonus 25 cents per gallon on your first fill up. So that's 50 cents cash back on your very first tank. Don't pay full price at the pump anymore. Get cash back using Get Upside. Some people who drive a lot are making as much as $200-$300 a month in cash back, and there is no catch. You go get, it's super easy. You pull up the app, you look on the map, say, I'm getting gas there. I was going to get gas there probably anyway. You claim your cash bonus. You go get gas. That cash back goes right into your account. You can cash out from your Get Upside account anytime you want to your bank account. You can get a PayPal account. You can cash out to an e-gift card, an Amazon card, whatever you want. Just download the free Get Upside app and use promo code touchdown and get up to 50 cents per gallon cash back on your very first tank. That is promo code touchdown with the Get Upside app. So very much unlike a lot of the games that the 49ers have won this season, and especially unlike the playoff game they won this season against the Cowboys in Dallas, the 49ers didn't come out and bully the Packers. They didn't run the ball well against the Packers. The Packers, in fact, in a lot of ways, whipped the 49ers up front. And that's what blows me away, that the 49ers were able to find a way to win this game after the opening drive, where the Packers go right down the field, just about as easy as any offense has on the 49ers defense this season. Puts up 7 points, and then the 49ers offense cannot get going, cannot beat the Packers at the line of scrimmage, cannot get the ground game going. The fact that the score ended at 13-10 in the 49ers' favor, knowing that was going on in the first half, is probably the craziest development. And it took some nutty stuff and some wild happenings, especially on special teams, for the 49ers to come out with this win. But that was the thing that surprised me the most. The 49ers got whipped up front, and that hasn't happened much this season.
They did, yeah. They got pushed around. Really, I felt like on both sides of the ball, more than what I'm used to seeing, especially from the defense. The defense is typically really stout. They stop guys behind the line of scrimmage. There was one point where I was watching the Packers offensive line. I think it was at the start of the fourth quarter, and they were just moving the 49ers defensive line. And I was just like, that's not the 49ers D line to get pushed around that way, you know? But they got the stops when they needed, and I guess the offensive line got the blocks when they needed. You know, one thing I want to say, because I saw someone in the chat also say, the offense wasn't good. There's going to be times when things just aren't as ideal, whether it's the offense line, defense, offense can't score, whatever, and you just got to figure it out. The weather wasn't ideal, right? I mean, I was watching the game, and I felt like I was giving the guys a pep talk where I'm like, okay, guys, I know it's cold. I know this is not ideal weather for you. But if you just get through it, you get all the warmness that you want in that locker room, and it's going to feel so much better getting through it. And it was an ugly game. I felt like, I'm pretty sure there's going to be a lot of good film. And when I say good film, a lot of good things for guys to learn from with just how they played, missed blocks and things like that. But it's a whole lot better correcting a lot of those mistakes that they will have to correct to win next week. It's a lot better watching that and having to correct it, as opposed to watching it and knowing, dang, I'm the reason why we got some.
I'm gonna have to ditch this beanie hat. It's getting a little bit too hot here when we go into overtime. It was unbelievable. A phenomenal way for a team to win a game when the game script wasn't in their favor, to prove they can win a game a different way. I think that was huge for the 49ers. Of course, the defense was massive for the Niners, giving it back to the offense so many times over and over again. Man, Rashawn Gary beat Tom Compton like a drum. It was like that first start for Tom Compton, and it just kept happening. And it was almost a game wrecker. It almost completely ruined the game for the 49ers right there, because obviously Trent Williams isn't getting killed on the other side, but and the 49ers on the interior got beat too many times as well by Clark. I mean, he was coming up the gut. So Gary and Clark were really killing the 49ers. There was a couple other good rushes from different guys. There was the early one from Zadarius Smith, and then he kind of disappeared. It turned out those returning players for the Packers didn't have the hugest impact really after that one play. Jair Alexander barely played and made a business decision. You mentioned on Deebo Samuel in the run game, but the Packers defensive line was a clear winner over the 49ers offensive line, most of it because of that Rashawn Gary versus Tom Compton matchup. But the 49ers were able to find a way to win, and really it came down to special teams. We talked about it. Richard, we got to give out some game balls. Do you give out a game ball to Richard Hightower, 49ers special teams coordinator? He's taken a lot of heat this year, and it was his unit that won this football game.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, and shout out to my guy Will Blackman. He pointed it out. I didn't even see it live. On the field goal block by Jimmy Ward, did you see what?
Yeah. He I don't know who it was next to Jimmy Ward batted the guy's arm down.
Yeah, he chopped the arm down. Yeah. That allowed Jimmy Ward to get through scot-free and block the field goal. I mean, that was huge. You don't just do that on your own. I'm pretty sure he was taught to do that. So we talk a lot about the special teams and the coach, but I mean, he came through in the clutch on that one. Now on the punt block, I mean, Jordan Willis, he just bullied the guy, got in there and got that hand up there and batted it away. I was just wondering, I was looking for the ball with the guys, and they're all looking around. I'm looking around like, where is it? Yeah. That was cool.
That was unbelievable. Richard Hightower, he gets my first game ball in this one. I got to give a game ball to DeMeco Ryans for the defense. The Niners are going to lose DeMeco Ryans. I don't know if he's going to get a head coaching job this year, but by 2023, he's going to be a head coach for another organization, like flat out.
I don't know how he doesn't get it. I mean, after this, it doesn't get more impressive than this. Just the way that he's handled the season, the way he's had to deal with adversity, with all of the injuries. You lose your starting cornerback 3 quarters in, just 3 quarters into the first game. That's your best guy. You have to play with guys off the street and figure it out. You have all these rookies you have to get ready. He played games without both his safeties in the game. Ward and Tart missing at one time. He played without Warner. He played without Greenlaw. He played without Algier. I mean, it goes on, and still this was the top 3 defense. And you saw how he flipped that switch tonight and got his guys to play at a high level outside of the very first drive of the game.
That was what made it so much more amazing too for the 49ers defense, because of how the Packers went through them at the beginning of the game. When you're gaining 5+ yards per carry, and even a little bit in the second series, and Aaron Rodgers to Devontae Adams is undefendable, it was like, oh no, this game's going to be over. You're not running the ball. You give the ball right back to the Packers offense, and they just went down the field on your defense like that. And the adjustments, it was just amazing to see what the 49ers defense did. They were stout. The defensive line came back. Eric Armstead, I'm going to give him the next game ball. Eric Armstead was awesome in the fourth quarter of that game down the stretch. Game-sealing play after game-sealing play behind the line of scrimmage, sacking Aaron Rodgers. That defensive unit came to play, and they didn't care what happened early in the game, and they came back and were firing on all cylinders, flying around the field, hitting people, and Eric Armstead making some really big plays. So Eric Armstead, so good against the run all season long, and he seems to be getting hotter and hotter as a pass rusher too as the season goes along.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, he did a terrific job pushing the pocket, and shout out to really the 49ers entire defensive line. I heard who was it, Aikman calling the game, said 5 sacks last week, 5 sacks this week. And that's tough. And you can tell that it's on the quarterback's mind. I thought there were plenty of times where Aaron Rodgers was maybe anticipating the pressure and anticipating the sack coming and then trying to get out of there sometimes maybe sooner than he had to. So that's what pressure does. A lot of people, they might think that, pressure are this like it's this empty stat. But what it does to a quarterback is speeding up their time clock. I think it's hard to kind of measure that. That was good stuff. I want to give a game ball to Fred Warner. I talked about him punching the ball out. There were several other times I seen him running sideline to sideline. There was a deep ball that he had to cover down the right sideline, and then he's on the ground sitting there and he does the discount double check. Did you see that? I love the intensity that he plays with, and I know that the team needed that in his energy throughout that game to keep them up. So that was awesome to see.
And the forced fumble, that was on the second series, right?
Yeah.
That play stopped the bleeding for the 49ers defense because they were, even on the second series, they were rolling right there.
They were getting ate up a little bit.
Yeah, and then Mercedes Lewis, boom, forced fumble. Niners get the ball back, and the Niners offense didn't do much, but the defense stopped giving up yards and points at that point. The Packers got a fourth quarter field goal after that. That was it. So that was a huge play. That was a huge momentum play for the defense. The offense took a lot longer to get rolling, but the defense, it was a drive and a half, and it was that Fred Warner forced fumble. I think that was a big part of that. I'm looking at the box score to remind me of anybody who deserves the game ball, and the box score is almost completely empty on the 49ers side. Like, not much happened at all. They didn't run the ball well. Deebo Samuel, it's the Deebo Samuel commemorative game ball award. This will be one of the first games we wouldn't give Deebo Samuel a game ball if we did not give him one here. Do you think Deebo Samuel gets a game ball again?
100%. What he did to battle through the clutch run to pick up that first down, I was looking at that play and I'm like, all right, they have to, the 49ers have to run the ball. You really don't want to throw the ball in this situation. You throw it and it's incomplete, you give Aaron Rodgers time. If you run it, at least you control what you want to do. You can just run the clock down, eventually go for it on fourth down if you're close enough. Well, Deebo picks it up. That was a huge play. The kickoff return right out of halftime. That was a huge play. Just seeing how he was battling through the elements.
Yeah. After the kickoff return, then they went back to him on a toss. They gave him the wide receiver screen, which is what I was clamoring for. Is like, yes, there you go. Get the ball in the hands of your best player. Wide receiver screen, super easy thing to be dialing up. Why would you not have called something like that in the first half to get your offense going? So I love that Kyle made those adjustments, started getting the ball into Deebo's hands in the second half, and I think it was huge momentum shift for the 49ers offense. Is that it? George, how about the catch? How about the George Kittle catch? I know he had a bad drop that it might have even been a touchdown. Ayuk had a bad drop. There was the Juwan Jennings bad drop on some beautiful Jimmy Garoppolo dimes. And then people crap on Jimmy Garoppolo later when he's making bad throws and bad plays and making these throws off his back foot. I don't know what he's doing.
I saw you say that.
And two that almost got picked off. Like, I know he doesn't use his lower body a lot and snaps off throws, but he doesn't try to do this Brett Favre thing where he's rolling out off his back foot and throwing it to the sideline. That's not a Jimmy thing. He was trying to do too much. I think he was trying to really make a big play and become this gunslinger, and that's not him.
Not ideal. When you're talking about Jimmy Garoppolo trying to make those type of throws, doesn't have the big arm to do that. But we have to give him a game ball just for, he kept this season alive with that last drive and being able to make clutch throws when it needed to happen. We talked about it, right? He's kind of the person that starts the fire, but then he puts the fire out, and he did it again. It was funny. I saw Grant Cohn tweet. Grant Cohn said, it just feels like somehow like Jimmy Garoppolo is going to be the hero in this game. Like, he just knew it was coming. And I did too. And the stage was set for him to, once again, be the hero and do his last drive thing. And he did it. So definitely game ball goes out to Jimmy G, or Jimmy W, as we like to call him.
Jimmy W, never a doubt. It's amazing with Jimmy Garoppolo because when he's playing well, you're not ever comfortable thinking he's going to continue playing well and not make a big mistake and throw an interception. But even when he throws an interception or makes some bad throws, You never think he's going to completely continue to only do that, and you have confidence he's still going to have a really good drive and put all that behind him and then just go down the field at some point, which he does. It's unbelievable. I've never covered a quarterback like this. Jimmy G is the weirdest quarterback of all time. But the 49ers win, and the 49ers won tonight in this one. Unbelievable. And it's amazing, Croc, because people will call you a Jimmy hater, yet you most often give Jimmy G the game balls on this podcast.
I do, right? And yeah, I mean, he deserved it on that one. Again, I've grown to, we just know who Jimmy is and who he isn't, and that weird play is coming, and is always going to be about how the team is able to kind of rally around that. And today they did an amazing job doing it.
Whoo, what a crazy game. All right, we're going to go into overtime on the YouTube Live. Everybody that's with us right now on YouTube, stick around. Let's stay hyped. We're going to get into your questions, your comments, have some fun here for a little bit. If you're listening on the audio-only podcast, we appreciate you. Thanks for making us your first listen every day here on Locked On 49ers. For your second listen, you can find me with Matt Williamson doing the Peacock and Williamson NFL show every day, talking about the entire league. We'll break down not only the Niners and Packers, but all the rest of the games Monday morning, and getting into the NFC Championship week as well. Take you through the offseason with the draft. You can find Croc doing Locked On NFL Draft podcast daily as well, right here on the Locked On Podcast Network. Croc and I back with you tomorrow right here, Locked On 49ers. All right, Croc, I'm going to leave it to you for a second to jump into the chat here on overtime. I'm going to do a wardrobe change, and I'll be right back.
All right, so I don't have control of – I probably should have signed in. I don't have control of the questions, so I can't bring them up. But, hey, shout out to everybody that's in here, man. If you haven't already, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. We are on YouTube 5 days a week now, the entire podcast. Here we go. Appreciate everybody that's in here. I'm looking through the comments right now, see some good stuff. Jimmy Ward should be nicknamed Hospital Ward because he put you in the hospital. Jimmy Ward. I was listening to Jimmy Ward on Mayoko and Laura Britt's podcast, and Jimmy Ward was talking about how he loves contact, and he's that guy. He loves the physicality part of it, and he throws his body around like that. So shout out to Jimmy Ward. He's one of the stalwarts of his team. Jimmy Ward, he's the longest tenured 49er. Longest tenured 49er. It would be him and Dante Johnson, but Dante Johnson left for a little bit. Somebody said, you cold? I'm in my office right now, and I don't have heater vents. It was an add-on, so yeah, it gets a little nippy in the office. Crocky Gate, look, I appreciate everybody that's in here right now. Shout out to all the listeners. I think there's like close to 500 of you watching live right now. Make sure you guys hit that like button. Aaron Rodgers. Earlier, someone said, Croc, can you do the face that Aaron Rodgers looks? Look, every time Aaron Rodgers has this look where it's almost like he's surprised that it happened to him. And I'm tired of seeing that look. I know it's coming. Every time he loses to the 49ers, every time he loses in the playoffs, the crazy thing, and I'm going to tweet this out as well. Aaron Rodgers, he is not Tom Brady. He's not. Tom Brady finds a way to win that game. Aaron Rodgers is not him. That's why Aaron Rodgers has been to one Super Bowl since 2009. He's not terrific talent, really good, really good. He's a great quarterback, but there's something missing with him. And that's why Aaron Rodgers does not have the success. Like, listen, their defense played more than good enough to be able to win that game. Their defense did an amazing job. They lost because of Aaron Rodgers. He couldn't make a play. He couldn't make the throw. And that's Aaron Rodgers more times than not in big moments when it's on the line. So he gets beat down in NFC Championship games. He gets beat down in divisional games. He just lost to the 6th seed. They talk about his wins and stuff. 13 straight seasons or 3 straight seasons, 13 wins or whatever it is. Then you lose. he got to dig deep and find out the root of it. I know he cut off his whole family and everything. Maybe he has to, reconcile things with them and get back right, and then maybe he'll have better juju. But right now, yeah, that's kind of my rant on. That's my rant on him, just a little bit. He's not Tom Brady. See, my guy said, how many rings did Dan Marino get? Dan Marino, 0 rings. Dan Marino, 0. He's not that guy either. Not how they talk about him, right? I think Dan Marino gets talked about how he should. He was one of the best throwers of the football. They don't talk about Dan Marino being the greatest quarterback of all time or anything in that light. But Aaron Rodgers, they mention him with Tom Brady. Don't ever mention him with Tom Brady again. I'm about to tweet that out. Don't mention Aaron Rodgers. Hey, there we go. Look at him.
Let's go, Croc.
Man, I was telling them I don't ever want to hear anybody mention Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady in the same sentence. They are not the same.
Who?
Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady. They are not. They're people talk about them as if Aaron Rodgers has accomplished the things that Tom Brady has, and he just hasn't. And Aaron Rodgers has had terrific football teams. He's had really good football teams. This was a good football team, and they played as well as they could, and they needed a play from their quarterback and did not get it.
Tom Brady is a stone cold killer. And Aaron Rodgers is a really good quarterback. He's a Hall of Famer, but he's not Tom Brady. They're on a different level. And I think there was some stuff that Aaron Rodgers missed in this game. I don't think you point at Aaron Rodgers, say he lost them the game or anything like that. He outplayed Jimmy Garoppolo, and we gave Garoppolo a game ball. But
he outplayed Jimmy Garoppolo from a statistical standpoint, but in the sense of when you need that throw, and that's how you're going to be measured, right? Because again, ugly game. There was a Super Bowl a couple years ago that Tom Brady and the Patriots won. And at the end of the day, against the Rams, remember, everybody hated that game. It was like 3-3 for a long time. But when Tom Brady needed to make that throw, right? I mean, it was tough sledding for him all game. I need to make that throw. He made it. When Aaron Rodgers needs to make that throw to either stop the bleeding or put his team ahead, like, he doesn't do it. This game was handed to him on a silver platter. Their defense played out of their mind. 49ers trying to battle the elements. And you're at home, you're supposed to be and you lose to the 49ers at home in this game, you're not who people think you are. You're a good quarterback. They think you're that. You are. You're not Tom Brady.
Nope. There's a tier. There's a tier that Aaron Rodgers is not in, and he's a really good quarterback. He actually kind of went away from Devontae many times in the second half where Devontae Adams was open. He's kind of looking away from him. And then I think the 49ers did a good job a couple times of, I know there's one video you posted of them bracketing Devontae Adams, just straight up doubling him as hard as you can, which I loved seeing that. So really just showing him every kind of look you can. And D'Amico Ryans did a good job of being multiple on defense and showing him everything. But there were times when Aaron Rodgers, there was throws for him to make that he didn't make. And now he didn't make any crazy Garoppolo interceptions either, or any turnover worthy throws. And I think there was a couple more that really could have gone the wrong way for Jimmy G. That's why I say Aaron Rodgers absolutely outplayed Jimmy, not just in the stat book. He played better overall. He was more consistent all game, but there were some throws he could have made, and he didn't make a big throw at the end of the game to go win that for the Packers. And that's a throw. Those are throws that Tom Brady makes and that Aaron Rodgers hasn't in a lot of big games. It's why he doesn't have as many rings.
And that's the one thing with Jimmy Garoppolo that he's going to be able to hang his hat on for whatever team, is looking for a quarterback that, hey, man, I might do some weird things in games, and he does. And I think we've grown to really accept that, right? But at the end of the game, if it's tight, and Eric Crocker has been vouching for this or talking about this all year, if it's tight, there aren't many other quarterbacks you would like to have the ball in their hands. And he's going to make the throws needed to put you in position to win. I think we kind of messed up on game balls. We didn't give a game ball to Robbie Gould. Did we give him one?
Oh yeah, you know what? That's a huge omission. Absolutely, Robbie Gould gets a game ball. So sorry, Robbie.
Yeah, we didn't give him one. but
Oh,
in
you
those
got me
conditions. But
overtime.
I was watching that game, and Aikman was saying it, and it's crazy because every time Aikman was saying it, I was thinking it, and it's like, all right, Jimmy, you got to make a play here. Like you have to make a throw, and he just didn't, and then he didn't, and he didn't, and then that last drive, and I knew like, well, this is Jimmy Garoppolo time now. This much time on the clock, like that throw is coming, and he made plenty of them.
Jimmy Garoppolo, man, it is a roller coaster. It is unbelievable. I can't believe the 49ers won this game. I'm still pretty stunned that this game ended 13-10, that the 49ers came out on top in this game with so much of what happened in the middle of that game. The way it started with Green Bay running down the field on the very first drive, that was the only touchdown. That was the only offensive touchdown of the entire game, Croc, was the opening drive by the Green Bay Packers.
Yeah,
What?
that's crazy.
That is insane.
I just saw a comment that said, basically, two comments. One that said, what more does Jimmy Garoppolo have to do to secure a future with the 49ers? Then there was another comment that was like imagine if that was Trey Lance in that situation. I think kind of insinuating that he would crumble. But I will say this, maybe rookie Trey Lance, maybe he doesn't handle it extremely well. I don't know. But I don't think Jimmy Garoppolo handled it very well until really that last drive. I mean, there were a couple of throws that he made. It just might look different with Trey Lance. I watched Trey Lance in the national championship in college. Like, he ran the ball like 30 times for like 170 yards, whatever it was, and willed his team to a national title in that type of weather conditions. Like, it was like the wind was blowing like 50 miles an hour or something crazy. It was super freezing cold, and he put the team on his back. So maybe Trey Lance isn't there right now to go toe-to-toe with Aaron Rodgers, but Trey Lance is made up of the right stuff to eventually be that guy. And that's why Jimmy G won't be here next year.
No, Jimmy won't be here next year. You got to pay Deebo now too. Did you see some of the talk before the game? I believe it was a Jay Glazer report, or maybe it was a Ian Rappaport report, that the 49ers priority in the offseason was to re-up Deebo Samuel, which is pretty darn obvious, right? And I asked my guy, Brad Spielberger, who does salary cap stuff for Pro Football Focus, he said it'd probably be in the 18 plus range. And I said, I'll take it as long as it doesn't go into the 20 plus range. And he said it could definitely go there, and that might be what he asked, but timing will be huge for all of these second round wide receivers from 2019. DK Metcalf, AJ Brown. There was a similar story about AJ Brown that the Titans wanted to re-up him in the offseason. I'm sure it'll be the same with DK Metcalf. These guys are going to make a lot of money. So you want to be the team that signs the guy first, because the next guy is going to want as much or more than the guy they just got. And all three of those guys can end up making almost identical money. And they could all end up trying to, angle into that $19-20 million range. And the guy who signs last, and maybe the guy who bets on himself and says, no, I'm not going to sign this offseason. I'm going to go into next season in my free agent year, and I'm going to believe that I'm going to have a big year in 2022 and I'm not going to get hurt, then I'm going to really cash in and go over the top and make $22 million a year, whatever it is, the next offseason. So we'll see how those players play it. We'll see how their agents want to do it. We'll see how their teams want to go about it. But I would be trying to sign Deebo Samuel yesterday, basically, as the earliest possible date I could.
And what do you think the number is going to be? Because we talked about this.
We talked about this before. We argued about it. We don't have to get that much into it, but and he's really good. He says that whoever signs first basically will get around 18 plus. So 18, 19, something like that. But then it might climb from there with the other two guys, depending on when they sign it, because they're going to probably ask for more. And he said that's what he would do. He would ask for more. If one of the other guys got 19, he would ask for 19.1 or whatever, In the end, they'll probably all end up getting almost the same. One thing Deebo doesn't have going for him is he's been sort of a one-year wonder as far as big-time production. So if you put all three of those wide receivers, if we're just talking DK, Deebo, and AJ Brown, if you put their career numbers together, Deebo had such a big year, he might have caught up to him in a lot of ways. But I think total numbers, I would think DK and AJ Brown still have better career numbers than Deebo, although Deebo has the best year, which was this year.
Yeah, right. And I think Deebo might mean more to his team because of how he's utilized. So that there's that aspect of it too, where it's like, okay, maybe these guys, but you guys use me all over. You use me at running back, like literally at running back, receiver, outside slot, now kickoff returner.
No hyperbole here. Deebo is both Derrick Henry and AJ Brown to the Titans. That's what Deebo is to the 49ers right now.
Right. It's
Crazy.
crazy.
Imagine so Croc, you say you want to see the Rams, or that's just who you bet on?
I bet that the Rams would win money line. So I
Okay.
need the Rams to win. That's $1,800. Sorry, guys.
I think the
It would be
league,
nice to see a Tom Brady.
yeah,
They can't go to the Super Bowl. They can go to the NFC Championship game against each
right,
other.
play for the right to go to the Super Bowl, I think is what he
Yeah.
said. But
Okay.
yeah, the league probably wants Jimmy and Tom. They don't want another 49ers Rams game.
No.
That would be fun for me too. That's what I want. The league probably wanted Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady, so the 49ers screwed that up. Sorry, league. Yeah, Jimmy G's going to get traded because you got to pay Deebo. You got to pay way too many people. They've put that ball rolling already. The better Jimmy plays, the further the 49ers go, maybe the more they get in trade, which makes it probably even more likely that he gets traded because they'll get better return.
We don't have to talk about the return on Jimmy yet. I mean, we got another 2 games left. Come on, Jimmy.
Yeah, Jimmy's going to play 2 more games. Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah.
He's the 49ers quarterback currently. I did see some people rumble a little bit about Trey Lance not being involved in this game at all because of the weather, because of maybe a short yardage advantage they could have had on some plays. It was especially after that 4th down that the 49ers did not convert. What do you think? Should Trey Lance be he's clearly not. Like, Kyle Shanahan's not going to put Trey Lance in. It's kind of weird to me. He's just not going to. I think you could absolutely gain some advantages. Do you think it's absolutely the right or wrong move to have Trey Lance not be in there?
No, I mean, it's the way that they see it is I think they are grooming him to be, Jimmy 2.0 with, all the added features, right? So they don't view Trey Lance as a gadget player or a package type guy. Like, that's not what it is. So no, I don't think you'll see him. I mean, obviously, you feel like there are certain situations where you can utilize him, but I mean, we saw that in the first matchup, right? All of a sudden, there's 4th down from like the 5-yard line. Is all right, let's get the ball to Trey Lance in this situation, which, I mean, odd, but that just goes to show they have no plan for him to put him in any type of situation like that. So I know everybody's like, Croc, Jimmy 2.0. When I say Jimmy 2.0, it's just they view Trey Lance as a pure quarterback, not a gadget guy, not a guy that, we want to throw in and run read option with him because he has this added element with his legs. No, he is going to have a very similar game plan to Jimmy Garoppolo, but probably throw to different areas of the field. And if he runs the ball, yeah, every once in a while they'll throw in a short run, but they want his runs to be more so off of, the play broke down, let me make a play with my legs, as opposed to, we want to bring him in to do some gimmicky stuff. So that's what I mean. Sorry, I know I'm probably explaining it terribly.
No, I know what you mean. It's weird because that wasn't the plan. Trey Lance scored the 49ers' first touchdown of the season. He was a part of the plan, and they ditched that plan. And I understand the long-term plan of Trey Lance. He's the quarterback. He's the backup quarterback. He's the future actual quarterback. He's not a gadget guy. He is a true quarterback. That's what they're developing. But there could be potential advantages in this athlete that's one of the guys that's active on your team that has a uniform on that could help you on a Sunday. That could help you in a championship game, perhaps, even if it's for one snap. Get an advantage if you have it.
But the tough thing is they haven't done that throughout the season. So, they haven't done that. So I see someone say, y'all talking about trade tonight? We're not really talking about trade. We're talking about, is there in the area where they could utilize him, like in that game? Because the offense was stagnant. Like the offense was like, Jimmy was in trouble. Like, there are areas where you could see where maybe Trey Lance could help. I get that part of it, but they just haven't. I don't expect them to, we're in the NFC Championship game now. Now let's do all this wild stuff with Trey Lance. I don't expect that to happen.
5 winning seasons since 2002. All 5 result in NFC Championship appearances at least. That's pretty crazy. What a weird that's been for the 49ers.
I think people are like I see things in the chat. Bro, if it's working, don't fix it. Oh, this is not. Like the offense was not working today.
It wasn't working great. They scored 0 touchdowns on offense.
You know what I'm saying? Like the offense was not working. You know, even against the Cowboys, like it started out good. I think the 49ers passed for like 25 yards in the second half. Like it has not been like just this high-oiled, high-powered offense. So to say that there is no need or added, like there's no need to have an added element of Trey Lance, or there's no need to have Trey Lance on the field, I think that's kind of ridiculous. I'm saying I don't see them doing it. But to think that you know, he can't help certain way, or Jimmy's playing so great that you don't like, oh, there should be no thought of Trey Lance. I think that's kind of ridiculous.
I will say, though, that the 49ers offense, if not 4 drops, they could have scored a touchdown probably on one drive. They might have been a touchdown to George Kittle if he catches that ball. You never know. Okay, hold on.
Yes. Well, I got my guy Will said he's a 21-year-old that played D2. That's not D2. He played Division 1 AA. There's a huge difference. North Dakota State, they go out and play big dogs. You know, schools like Minnesota and them won't even play them anymore because they were beating them. They were beating Big Ten schools. Montana just beat Washington. Like, no, 1 AA and D2 are different. I went to a D2. This helmet right here, that's from a Division 2 school. We would get our ass kicked by North Dakota State. They wouldn't play no games with us.
Like, Croc would lock down one side of the field, and then you might get beat on the other side. Yeah,
I would. FCS, yeah. All right, yeah. So FCS, 1 AA, whatever you want to call it. There's a huge difference between FCS or 1 AA and D2. You know what I'm saying? They are not the same. North Dakota State, again, they would try to schedule teams early on. They scheduled Oregon, but then the pandemic happened. They were supposed to play Oregon. You know what I'm saying? Like
Trey Lance versus Oregon.
Yeah, Trey Lance was supposed to play Oregon. So yeah, D2 and it's not the same, y'all. It's not the same.
So what was I saying? Oh yeah, so Jimmy Garoppolo, he was throwing dimes, right? The drop from Ayuk, the drop from Kittle was a big one. Who's the other drop? Juwan Jennings. That was the best throw of the day, probably, was the Juwan Jennings drop. But the Kittle one, I mean, that could have been a touchdown right there. So that's one offensive touchdown maybe taken off the board. There was the drive with the Trent Williams holding penalty. They worked their way out of into field goal range, but they basically kicked a field goal that drive. Then there was they were very likely going to score a touchdown on the drive that Elijah Mitchell had the face mask penalty on. So, I mean, who knows? Maybe the 49ers would have scored 3 offensive touchdowns in that game. And maybe Jimmy doesn't fall apart if things go better and he's not trying to wing these other passes and try to do too much. So the offense,
he would still do that because that's who Jimmy Garoppolo is.
He might have thrown one, but he might have not felt the need. And in fact, one of those plays happened after that penalty. So I guess technically the interception couldn't have happened because they wouldn't have been in that down and distance because that was right after the penalty, right? Right. That was after the Elijah Mitchell penalty. Yes. So who knows? So maybe it would have been completely different and the 49ers offense would have been on track and it would have looked a lot different. So I don't want to say the offense was god awful, terrible, the worst ever. It was bad, but I think they shot themselves in the foot, drops, penalties, and they maybe could have scored some points. So it could have definitely looked a little bit different on offense for the 49ers.
Right. Definitely. I do think some of the things that we saw Jimmy do, though, that is just like, that's just Jimmy. When those are things that you have to live with, which again, Jimmy Garoppolo, we call on this show, we've nicknamed him Jimmy W.
Jimmy W.
So I think that shows that we respect Garoppolo and what he does for this team. But I also think that guy throwing those fluttering passes to the sideline, like that's Jimmy Garoppolo too. That comes with it.
Mike says, what the hell game was I watching? I just told you I literally was not even making opinions. I was telling you facts about what happened in the game. I don't know what you're mad about. Oh, let's see. How cold did Kyle look? Everybody on the sideline looked cold, especially those guys that weren't running around. I thought it was hilarious that they were like James Brown on the sideline where someone would stand there, like Deebo stand there and someone would bring a coat for him and hold it over and it was just like one play. Then they take the coat off so he'd run back in the game. I don't know how much difference that actually makes, but I always thought that was funny. Guys, keeps you a little bit warmer. I kind of want one of those parkas. I don't know what would, It's kind of too big. It wouldn't work well for a normal human that wasn't wearing shoulder pads and doesn't have any arms. But I don't know. So there's something that's kind of sweet.
Peacock, can we talk about how? I mean, so Kyle Shanahan has this interesting stat. All right. The last 2 times, and we'll just we'll just say we'll round it up and say Jimmy Garoppolo started the whole year because mostly he started this whole year. So the last 3 times now that he's had a quarterback start the entire year, or the previous 2 times, they went to the Super Bowl, and now here he is again in the NFC Championship with another chance to go to the Super Bowl. How impressive is that on Kyle Shanahan as a head coach, where when he has a starting quarterback, he goes far?
It was the same quarterback both times. So do you put it on the coach or do you put it on the quarterback?
Wait, what happened?
It was the same quarterback both times.
No, I mean, no, with Matt Ryan too.
Oh, you mean when he was the offensive coordinator too?
Yeah, as the offensive coordinator too. I mean, like,
Okay.
just offensive coordinator of the Falcons. Like, I mean, that was obviously they were led by the offense. It was so high powered. They kicked everybody's ass in the playoffs. He had a great quarterback. He went to the Super Bowl. Both times with the 49ers, he's got Jimmy Garoppolo to play at a high enough level to potentially go to the Super Bowl and potentially go.
Did Matt Ryan not play the full year in 2015, the year before they went to the Super Bowl?
Yeah, he did, but we're saying since then.
Oh, so so starting from 2016 when he went.
Yeah, I'm just saying the last 3 years now. That's what I'm saying.
Okay. I don't know. I mean, it's clear that Kyle Shanahan's doing something right.
Yeah.
A ton of talent on that offense, but obviously when he left, a lot of the same players, definitely not the same offense in Atlanta, right? And we know how bad the other quarterbacks have been for the 49ers that aren't Jimmy Garoppolo, which is one of the reasons why I don't know how good Jimmy is, because all he's had to be is better than CJ Beathard and Brian Hoyer and Nick Mullins. Like, maybe there's this crazy stratosphere where there's so much more there. And Jimmy's only actually a number 2 because he's only had to be better than number 3s, right? I don't think that's necessarily the case, but it's hard because I don't know exactly how good Jimmy Garoppolo is because his competition has been so bad at quarterback on the 49ers. So it'll be fun to watch Kyle Shanahan's career go on and see what it looks like with Trey Lance as he develops. And we'll really have a better idea of who Jimmy Garoppolo was. And maybe, who knows, 10 years from now, we're looking back, we're like, man, we missed Jimmy W, because all he did was win, and it wasn't that easy to win, and as it turns out.
Right. And I think that's what Richard Sherman was alluding to, right, on his podcast, basically saying, guys aren't appreciating the wins that Jimmy Garoppolo is getting. And also, I listened to it, so there is a little bit more context to what he was saying about 49er fans kind of calling for Trey Lance. And his thing was he would start, and that was a question, would you start Jimmy Garoppolo in 2022? And his answer was yes. And his answer was yes, because he's like, the fans' expectations are so high. Like, if they don't appreciate Jimmy Garoppolo, what he's doing, being able to win games, then what are they going to do to this rookie quarterback, or, essentially starting his first year, if he doesn't hit the ground running? How are they going to treat him if they treated Jimmy Garoppolo bad that was winning games? That was kind of the way that he put it. So he kind of wants to protect Trey Lance.
I think you made the argument better than he did, because it didn't come out that way to me. It felt like he was more talking about how the fans just don't appreciate Jimmy. But that's kind of my point too, is like, we don't know. Maybe the offense could be so much better, right? Imagine Jimmy efficiency, but throws half as many interceptions and makes plays outside the numbers and down the field, right?
Right. And I think that's what you
insane.
want, right?
That's what that offense would look like. So that's what fans aren't dumb. They're like, yeah, I can see where this could be a lot better. And that's why they spin a boatload. And that also informs fans' opinions, is what the 49ers actually did to go get a quarterback. Like, that quarterback exists now.
Yeah, but I think there are a lot of fans that look at this game and it's like, hey, the 49ers are in the NFC Championship game, and Jimmy Garoppolo is the quarterback that started the game and won. So, no, he is great. So, there's that element of it, I think.
Bosa's talking about how much he likes Jimmy. Jimmy's beloved in that locker room. No, I think that's a lot of it. I think the front office loves Jimmy. It's why they brought him in. It's why they paid him a bunch of money. Kyle Shanahan loves Jimmy. He's a tough guy. That's why he's in there. That's why he's started all year long, even when he's hurt. And I have no doubt that the teammates love him as well. Like, this is a good locker room. This is a good team atmosphere. So you, in a lot of ways, and I kind of feel like Sherman's like this as well, even though he's not still on the roster. The last place you're going to get an actual real answer is going into the locker room. That's why I don't really listen to the
real answer.
Break it down. The real answer exists.
No, the real answer was, hey, yeah, we looked into Matthew Stafford. Hey, no, we looked into Deshaun Watson. Hey, we traded 3 over. That's the real answer.
That's the honest answer. That's the look in the mirror answer. And of course, they all like Jimmy. We like Jimmy too. I mean, Jimmy just won a stinking divisional playoff game. They're going to the NFC Championship game. Rooting for Jimmy Garoppolo. I admire Jimmy Garoppolo. That doesn't mean there can't possibly be a better quarterback out there than Jimmy Garoppolo. Two totally different things. You don't have to be on one side or the other. You just have to properly rate Jimmy G. We know who Jimmy G is. He's Jimmy W on days like this.
Right.
Somehow. Jimmy Ward. Let's talk Jimmy Ward. We haven't talked a lot about Jimmy Ward. I did not nominate Jimmy Ward for a game ball because he darn near gave up a touchdown, but he did come back with the field goal block. So
that was huge.
Yeah.
We brought that up though. Maybe they missed it when we talked about that, and we talked about the special teams and the technique that the defensive lineman used to chop down the arm and free up Ward. He comes in, he blocked it. How about this? What a fortuitous is that how you say it? Fortuitous bounce that ball took to go right into the holder's arms, because if it bounces anywhere else, I mean, that might be to the crib.
Yeah, the Niners got a fortuitous bounce back on the blocked punt though, because it was just right there for
that one. Yeah.
Hufanga to pick up and score a touchdown. So they kind of got the luck back on the second blocked kick. But the first one, for that to not, because I was trying to figure out where it went when it first got blocked. He was like, oh, house that thing. He's like, where is it? But it went right into the holder's hand.
Yeah.
7 conversion to Deebo. With him hopping off the field was everything this team represents. Was that the last throw? Was that the last?
Big shout out to him getting off the field so they didn't have to use a timeout. That was what I was thinking. Like, get your ass off the field, hop off the field so they don't have to use a timeout, man. That would have been, I don't know if it would have hurt them, but it changes the way you have to call plays. So.
Absolutely. Yeah. A lot of the 49ers are banged up. A lot of guys with a lot of injuries playing through stuff. Deebo was one of them. I can't wait to see what Deebo's injury report is. And we hopped on the podcast immediately, so I don't know what the post-game press conference was. So anybody in the chat, if you listen to the post-game press conference, and we know what's going on with Deebo right now injury-wise, because I'm a little bit worried about him for next week. But, he was definitely playing through something. He was banged up, but he's a warrior. He's so fun to watch, too. He's unbelievable how he gets up to full speed so fast, his explosive ability, but he sees holes that other people don't see, that I don't think are going to be there on the telecast. You're watching the broadcast. Deebo's going full speed, and I'm like, where's he going? I don't know if there's anything there. And boom, he finds something. And if there's nothing there, he trucks somebody who's in the way. He killed, who was it? Was it Kevin King on the kickoff return?
Oh, yeah, just ran through his face.
Him up at the end of that play. That was awesome.
He ran through his face. You remember when Marshawn Lynch, when he was like,
oh, yeah.
Run through a mother F face.
Yeah.
He was like over and over and over and over and over and over. And that was what Deebo did to Kevin King. Kevin King is tall. When you're tall like that, it's kind of hard to get low. And
he probably expected, classic. I'm on special teams. Kick returners are little dudes. They run out of bounds. Deebo ain't run out of bounds.
Yeah, he ran through his face.
What did Peter Bukowski tweet?
Oh, he had to tweet that Jimmy Garoppolo owns Aaron Rodgers. That was the bet.
So
he
really?
Tweeted it out. There's supposed to be a picture of it too, but he didn't add the picture. But I'll take the tweet, and he pinned it to his profile. So I'll take that.
Okay. So he manned up, and that's good. I like that.
Yeah,
that's hilarious. So that was the bet. No money involved.
That was the bet. I said no money involved. Jimmy, I want to see the tweet Jimmy G owns Aaron Rodgers, and pin that to your profile. It has to be up there for 7 days. I ain't done with Peter.
I gotta find it. How about the Trent Williams block?
Oh yeah, crushed him. I mean, he crushed like several people. His own player, he crushed everybody that was in the way.
Oh, that play, like keep running that play, by the way, because it was going to work the next time on the 4th and 1, but somehow there was confusion and Mitchell went the wrong direction and didn't follow him. Like, follow 71. What are you doing? Because that was going to be wide open again. Like, that play is going to work every time. He looked like he was having so much fun with that play too. He's like, "Oh,
Yeah.
this is so awesome! I can't wait to just destroy who was ever in front of me." And he did crush people. And he was hobbling around on that ankle too, a little bit worried about multiple players on this team. And Trent Williams and Deebo Samuel are two pretty important ones. D'Amico Ryans, you might be late, Tim, to the show. We talked about D'Amico Ryans earlier. We actually gave him a game ball. D'Amico Ryans is a future head coach. Is it going to be now or is it going to be next year? That's the only question. He will be a head coach by 2023.
Yeah.
The way the 49ers defense is playing right now, not shocked at all. Last week after the Cowboys game, D'Amico Ryans, that was a report. He's going to have an interview with the Minnesota Vikings. If they don't sign him, there's going to be more reports tomorrow. Someone's going to be calling the 49ers tomorrow requesting an interview with D'Amico Ryans. I mean, why would you not? He's too smart. He's too good of a football coach. I thought maybe he was a year away earlier before this run in the playoffs, and now it's almost inevitable. He might get taken away this year.
Leader of men, and you could see it. You see how the guys play for him. I mean, the transition from Salah to him. I mean, you couldn't ask for a better transition with how he's coaching up this defense. And I thought it would go. Maybe obviously you can't you don't think he's going to be the number 3 overall defense in the NFL, but being a linebacker, understanding the front end, the back end, and how they kind of all work together, linebackers, quarterbacks of the defense, doing that for 9 years, and people, the way they talked about how he was as a player and they knew he was going to be a coach, getting into coaching and being under Salah, seeing all the good, the bad, the things that he probably felt like Salah could do better, the meetings that he was in, this staff, he's been with the staff the entire time that they got together. So, yeah, big shout out to D'Amico. His days with the 49ers are definitely numbered.
Which is unfortunate. I feel like D'Amico's been really good at making adjustments too, whether it's season-long adjustments, in-game adjustments. Is it just me? And that shows, I don't know, just a certain kind of a mind where he doesn't panic. He's not married to one idea. He sees something and he fixes it. Or maybe he's just got this plan in advance where he knows he's going to go these different ways, right? Because it seems like his defense changes as games go along and it gets better.
Well, I think the biggest thing is his players responding to whatever adjustments he's making. Because it's easy to say, hey, we're just going to go, oh, okay, we came out with this game plan, but this isn't working. Let's switch over to and do something totally different, and then guys be able to execute it. And I think that speaks volumes to what type of coach he is as well.
Got something special to put on the screen right here. Let's see if we can bring this up. Hey, there we go.
Yeah, yes, sir.
G owns Aaron Rodgers, and I'm tweeting this because I have to. He had to add that in, of course.
Of course.
CC Eric Crocker. Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. That was well worth the bet, Croc. That's better than money in a lot of ways.
Yeah, and it has to sit up there for 7 days. I know it hurts him. I'm telling you, I have the video screenshot. As soon as we get off here, I will be posting it. When I picked the 49ers to win, he made like this, he did this face, and it was like, he did this face like, oh, really? Like, oh, really? You picked the 49ers? It was like that. Like, that was how I took it. And I said, okay, I'm coming back to that. And I screenshot that right away. I went back. I found exactly where it was. I knew exactly where it was in the video. I screen grabbed it. I got that video. It's going to play on loop. And everybody's going to see it. And all the 49er fans, they're going to retweet it. And they're going to tag him and all that good stuff. It's coming. It's coming.
That's funny. And I love the friendly rivalry we have with Peter Bukowski too. And I know you're new to the rivalry, Croc, with the podcast because you haven't been podcast. You haven't been on Locked On 49ers with me for the years I've been doing it, crossovers with Peter Bukowski, but Locked On 49ers listeners love to hate Peter Bukowski, and Peter, I don't know what it is. Peter's personality, it gets under the skin of a lot of listeners, and I have a lot of fun with it. I love it. I love talking with Peter. He's a smart guy, and I have a great time doing the crossovers and stuff. And I really respect Peter, and he does a great job with his show. And by the way,
he really does.
Yeah.
And I want to let everybody know, like, it is all in fun. Obviously, like, I felt a certain way about the little, oh, really? Like that look. But aside from that, I mean, we've been joking with each other and going back and forth. Like, the rivalry doesn't stop with just this on-field stuff. We've sent out tweets about whose show is number one, whether it's the Packers one week, the 49ers the next week. We usually battle with him for the top show on the network. So it's a nice little rivalry, like, and it's fun. I think he has a fun time with it. He's probably not going to have as much fun with this because the 49ers ended the Packers season, but I'm definitely going to have a lot of fun with it. That's for sure.
He probably did not expect that he was actually going to have to pay up. He legitimately believed that the Packers were going to win pretty easily. And that's why it's so funny. And that's why he made that face. He wasn't acting. He made that face when you picked the Niners because he's like, oh, that's a dumb pick because, of course, the Packers are going to win. That's what Peter thought. So that's a hilarious bet. That's better than money. And you said he has to have it up for 7 days?
7 days.
Love it. I love that Peter's doing that too. That's a great.
Kudos to him for owning up to it and everything. And I'll tell him, hey, thanks for the tweet. I appreciate it. Just the back and forth. But I'm still tweeting out that video.
Yeah, I want to see the video. I can't wait to see that actually. Oh man, that's great stuff. All right, you ready to get out of here, Croc?
Yeah, I'm ready to get out, man.
All right, that was good stuff. I'm glad you came to the podcasting character today. Feeling that 49ers W. Moving on to the NFC Championship game. Will it be the Bucks? Will it be the Rams? We'll find out tomorrow. We will definitely be tuned into that and talking about who the 49ers' next opponent will be. We'll be getting into probably be doing some more live shows throughout the week, maybe. We'll have a Winky Wednesday, of course. We will be answering some Twitter questions as well at BD Peacock, at Eric_Crocker. And we'll be back tomorrow. Appreciate all you guys coming and hanging out with us post-game here and witnessing what I get to witness every day with Croc fired up with the Sunnies and the victory blanket on. I love it. Or is it a robe? Is that a robe? What even is that thing?
No, it is a blanket, but it's just a blanket. Okay. I have it in my sports room, but it was getting kind of cold. I don't know. So I was walking around the house with it on, or I was pacing back and forth. I'm pretty sure I wasn't the only person pacing back and forth in front of the TV. So I was watching the game, pacing back and forth. Standing up there with my blanket on. So yeah, I think the good luck was me standing up. When I was sitting down, the 49ers were getting carved up. I stood up. I watched the whole game, and I have an outdoor. I have this room outdoors. It's we call it the screen room, but it's basically like an outdoor patio kind of thing, but it's kind of like screened in, and then we got the plasma TV and everything on the wall. And I was gonna watch it out there because it's freezing cold, right? It's in the 20s out here, and I was gonna just start a fire and just watch the game out there so I could feel like I was at Lambeau Field because I was supposed to be there. And my wife was like, "That's stupid. Don't do that." So I couldn't do that. I was trying to have fun with it, but.
Oh, that's fantastic. Eric says he definitely took over 10K steps watching the game. I'm definitely more of a pacer. Yeah, I'll get up and I'll stand up. In fact, this desk I have here is a stand-up desk, but I can't do the podcast standing up because I'm too hyper and I'll be moving around so much. I move around just in my seat here when I'm sitting down. I'll be walking around, moving around if I have this in standing mode when I'm doing podcasts, and I'll be out of breath when we be able to talk. I'm moving around so much. So that's what I'm doing usually when I'm watching games is I can't sit still. I get up and I'm standing up and I'm walking around and going and walking to the refrigerator and open the refrigerator, and I'm staring. I'm like, why am I staring in the refrigerator right now? I didn't even want to get anything to eat. I have to do something. I just like to, every time there's a commercial, I just walk out of the room, walk back. It's fun. It's fun stuff. Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, Keisha's calling me out. You're right. I didn't pick the Niners. Croc did. I did pick the Niners to cover though, which they did. I had it wrong. I had Packers by 3. It was Niners by 3. Good job, Croc. You nailed it.
Yeah. I think I had the Niners by 4, maybe 3.
Yeah.
I don't.
I think you had them by 4. Yeah.
27-23. I think something like that.
I think we had the under too. Didn't I say to pick the under?
Yeah.
I didn't expect 13-10 though. I did not expect that game. That game blew me away. I still, I'm gonna have to watch it again to just comprehend everything that happened in that football game. Croc and I back tomorrow. Thanks everybody for joining us on this episode of Locked On 49ers.